to back up. The medevac providing that oh-so-important vision of the high ground. And, man, the siege tanks are really just pelting that bunker. The bunker is going to go down soon. Goody forced to pick up that barracks to get his own vision, as there's pretty much nothing here to deal with that except for that one Viking.
Yeah, one Viking and the Thor. The Thor is now fully healed up thanks to those SCVs. Meanwhile, now dropping in the back of the base, they kind of have to, but he has to, unfortunately that siege tank was there, so he had to pull back. That drop would have been devastating if he could have gotten off with it. That barracks just kind of flying away there though. The command center now lifting off. I don't know what Goody is doing with those units there. He needs to be a little more careful. Oh, but meanwhile, they're pelting that Thor. The Thor goes down. The SCVs are getting murdered by that splash damage. This is a really bad spot for Goody right now.
God, that one siege tank has 12 kills right now. He's a sergeant, really using that vision to his advantage. Tarson with the superior tactics at this point. Goody just flying buildings around all over the place. I think that's as a delay tactic as well as for vision. And Tarson just flying just balls out, flying his medevac in, kind of dropping it down, picking back up, just kind of checking the situation out to get vision there. And Tarson just really using this innovative play and this innovative siege style warfare. It's really working out for him. As he was doing that whole thing, by the way, he dropped this expansion at the high yield here, at the bottom high yield.
Yeah, absolutely. He hasn't saturated it yet. I see a mule coming down now, and he's turning it into an orbital command. So I'd like to see him Maynard some SCVs down there, and there they go. They're heading down there. He gets that saturated. He's really going to be able to continue to keep the pressure on. Goody has not even gotten a natural yet. Tarson did not get his natural yet either. He went straight for the high yield, which worked really well for him. Last game, having that high yield really allowed him to push ahead. So he knows he doesn't need a natural because Goody doesn't have it. He's keeping just tons and tons of pressure on Goody. Goody is basically trapped into his base. He's got a fair amount of siege tanks though, but he will eventually starve on just those minerals from his main.
You're definitely right there. Income tab, it's actually fairly even at this point. Well, we are going to see Tarson start to pull ahead, as Tarson does have a bit more. Oh, look at that Viking doing a sick dance there over the natural expansion, trying to slash taunt everything out. Thor gets taunted, but the Thor unable to take down that Viking. It looks like Tarson's going to attempt a drop here in the back of Goody's base. This probably will be very effective, which is really just splitting up the army as all these Marauders are dropped down on the low. Oh god, getting melted immediately though by those siege tanks. This drop is going to be pretty darn effective as it's causing mayhem more than anything else, not really taking down too many SCVs. Attempting now to take down that starport that's building, but some Marines, a Thor getting in the game. Tarson forced to pull out as he lost pretty much all of those units he was dropping.
Yeah, absolutely. But 41 to 24 Harvester tells the tale as that high yield is now completely saturated for, or just about for Tarson. So really moving around, taking care of business. Goody with that command center just to have view of these siege tanks and that Viking wants to see what they're going to do. He's actually moving out with his units now. They're going to take a couple of hits, but they will take out those siege tanks. No problem there. Even the SCV's getting in there on some action. You'll have to see that. And I would like to have seen them get the kill, but maybe next time.
Yeah, we do love the workers. Another expansion being dropped down by Tarson here at the 2 o'clock position, and his natural has been dropped down. So he is just going to start pulling away in this economy, and Goody is really just going to be forced to push out, which he realizes right now, moving the Thor. All those siege tanks, Marines, SCVs, Hellion, going to try to push out and deal with this. However, Tarson just has a really nice, sizable force here to deal with this push. Sieged up, though, however, forcing all those Marauders to pull back. A superior number of siege tanks here for Tarson on the low ground, which is really going to keep Goody at bay.
Yeah, absolutely. Goody deciding I can't push in like that. I gotta move out. He needs to get his natural up and running. He needs to do something to hurt the economy for Tarson. Tarson's putting down basically would be his 4th expansion over here at the natural of the top right base here. So if he can get those up and saturating, it'd be all over. But if Goody can get towards them and really take them out, he can really hurt Tarson on time and resources for getting those up and running. So we'll see just how it happens. Unfortunately, I feel Goody is still stuck in his base. He doesn't have the map control that he needs, and he has a decent army now. He's finally got his natural up and running as his main runs out. But meanwhile, Tarson's going to keep that pressure up. He's not going to let him get back on his feet.
Oh man, Tarson is just so ahead at supply right now. 116 over 140. Goody's only at 71 over 78. Huge altercation here. Thor getting in the game, getting right up front, pumping those siege tanks full of lead, did a decent amount of damage there. Marine's gonna go ahead and get in here and finish off the job as Goody sieged up tanks. We're in a better position. Tarson with massive losses there. Massive losses to his army. That was really unfortunate for him as he just dropped down to 85 supply like that, but immediately being able to reinforce because of his superior income.
Yeah, absolutely. So Goody doing a good job coming in right now, but unfortunately Tarson is ready, and the defending tanks usually are going to have the advantage, as we saw in that last altercation, as we're seeing here. Unfortunately, those Marauders got a little over anxious and went too far out and got blasted in the face without any kind of defense. So Goody now pulling back. He can't. Unfortunately, Goody cannot capitalize on that victory, and Tarson's just going to be able to reinforce. Look at that income. 60 harvesters to 59 to 27. That is just ridiculous.
It's huge. It's huge. I don't know what Goody can do about it at this point. I mean, Tarson just going to reinforce. He's back up to 116 over 151 on his supply, 69 over 78 for Goody right now. I mean, Tarson is just dominating as far as supply is concerned, and it looks to me like he's just going to build up his army, really max it out here, and then probably move in. It's going to be a great idea as that high yield expansion is just fully saturated, just pulling in all kinds of cash. 2 o'clock expansion just getting saturated, pulling in cash. I mean, Tarson is really just dominating this match right now, and Goody is just going to have to pull something out here to win these November finals. He is just in a desperate situation, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to wonder about his morale right now after losing those 2 games, after being up 2, and then being in this desperate situation. He's going to have to pull that out, though. I would think that morale is something that's not really considered, but he almost the way he's been pulling back and just kind of sitting around and hasn't been doing a lot of pressure, you almost wonder if he's feeling defeated before the game even started.
Certainly that's a subjective thing to speculate, but I wouldn't be surprised, as Tarson was throwing it in his grill pre-game with those awesome-looking hearts. And these Marauders moving across the map here, I wonder what they're doing, heading on over to the high-yield expansion, just kind of running around the map right now. Tarson's got his army split up, so maybe if Goody is able to engage one part of it, he could take one part of it down, but I'm still skeptical of that, because just overall, both of these mini forces for Tarson is really superior to Goody's entire army.
Yeah, absolutely, and here we go. That's mostly Goody's army here, engaging those Marauders. The Marauders have the high ground. This is no good. They're just pelting those Marines, and Goody just GG's. He realizes he just walked into absolute nastiness, and he GG's. He taps out and says, you know what, you can have the 500 euros, and that's got to hurt. He played a good game, but that has got to hurt.
It's gotta hurt. I mean, those first few games were so epic. Goody fought his heart out, but really, the story's all about Tarson coming down from an 0-2 deficit, 3 games in a row to take this in the end. I hate to admit it, but you were right with all those zealous claims you were making about him coming back. So good job to you, Danny. Your pick won, and I feel like everybody won here though, because this series of 5 was just super, super entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. Could you say that I was right again?
Yeah, you were right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you've seen here, you can head on over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/FTWBroadcasting. Click the blue link if you want to check out our channel. We cast on a regular basis, as well as Esports FTW news updates. And you can click the green link here at the top if you want to see our other ESL Go4SC2 casts. We've done a ton of them already. We're planning on doing more. And also, if you want to click in the center of the heart to subscribe, we would really, really appreciate that. Danny will do a sick dance. He's probably doing a dance right now because his pick just won. Thank you so much for watching, folks, and stay tuned for our next cast.